Amazing family. Nick, first of all, Happy New Year.
To you as well, and the entire Herd family, everybody out there. Happy New Year.
All right, let's start with Antonio Brown. I said to start my show, you used to need base stealers in Major League Baseball. You used to need centers in the NBA, and you used to sometimes be beholden to star wide receivers. I look around right now, the diva wide receiver to me is much more disposable than it's ever been. The rules help receivers right out of college to the pros. What do you do if you're Pittsburgh with AB?
You and I are typically very different on this. I will tolerate. Antonio, to me, has crossed the Rubicon here. And a lot of this is not just on him. I think you talked about it stemming with Mike Tomlin. I think it stems with the enabling of Ben Roethlisberger and his bad behavior on and off the field that for 15 years the Steelers have still never punished him and always put their arms around him, whether he's throwing teammates under the bus, being accused of horrifying things off the field, or just throwing red zone interceptions. But that is the culture they have there. And now with Antonio, we're to a point where in a playoff week, the most important week of the year, he goes AWOL. If that's not tradable, then nothing is tradable. I don't think it's shocking that the Steelers have had a trend of Martavis Bryant fails a drug test, doesn't learn. You can't keep failing drug tests. And now has failed tests out of the league. Le'Veon Bell failed multiple drug tests. You've seen guys in that locker room not be taught there is a line. And for Antonio, I don't care about the celebration penalties. I don't care about throwing the cooler. I don't care about throwing the football at Big Ben. He probably deserved to have that football thrown at him. But you then got to show up for work the next day. And so if I'm the Steelers, he's the same cap hit on or off the team next year. So I'm asking myself, is my team better moving forward with zero cap dollars for Antonio Brown, 2020 and moving forward, plus probably a first and a third round pick, or Antonio Brown, his contract, and the enabling that goes along with it? I'm absolutely shopping him this summer.
All right, let's shift to this. You're in New York. Mike McCarthy is available. I know he doesn't have cheekbones, and he's not lit and cool and all that stuff, but I know this. Everybody bum-rushed Andy Reid out of Philadelphia. He's the number one seed, old 60-year-old Andy Reid, and old Belichick, and old John Harbaugh. I'm reading, and I got nothing against Cliff Kingsbury, but, you know, I saw him in the Big 12, and he's interviewing for the Jets job, and I'm like, whoa, it doesn't make sense to me. How's that land for you?
I mean, I do have something to give against Cliff Kingsbury. How about 35-40 at Tech? That's enough to be against him. That's his record. Cliff Kingsbury going from fired at your alma mater, where you're a beloved legend, to NFL head coach would be an instance of failing upwards, the likes of which I had never seen. Like failed reality star to, never mind, not the point. But I can't imagine a circumstance where this makes sense. You joke about the cheekbones. I mean this sincerely. If Cliff Kingsbury weren't so handsome, would he be a candidate? If Cliff Kingsbury didn't look like, literally, Sean McVay, would he be a candidate? And I would caution anyone that was trying to find the next McVay or the next Matt Nagy. What did McVay and Nagy have? McVay went and hired someone to take care of the defense who's 50 years older than him. Nagy has Vic Fangio, who's 30 years older than him, to run the defense. If you bring in a guy like Cliff Kingsbury, does he have a Wade Phillips, a Vic Fangio? A guy who would make a ton of sense for that job is Todd Bowles, but I don't think he's going to stick around in New York to be the coordinator for his nephew. So I don't understand the Cliff Kingsbury thing. McCarthy would be fine. McCarthy is a replacement level coach. That's not an indictment. That is who he is. Cliff Kingsbury would be bananas.
All right, let's move to this. We didn't see the Warrior dynasty coming. We didn't see Joe Torre coming. We didn't see Robert Downey dynasty coming. We didn't see Amazon that used to just sell books or Netflix coming. Dynasties come out of nowhere. We thought LeBron, D-Wade, and Bosh would last forever. The Colts have 9 picks, $120 million, the best young linebacker, a rock-solid offensive line, mostly on the cheap, in a division that's full of dysfunction, including your Texans, Is it crazy to say they may not win this weekend, but for the next 8 years, they're the safest bet to be a dynasty in this league?
My Texans. I'm going to start doing that to you, by the way, Colin. Every team in any city you've ever lived in, your Las Vegas Stars. I'm just going to start assigning you teams. I don't know that we can give them dynastic status yet, but you do like to be ahead of the curve. I'll give you credit for that. What I will say is the GM there, Chris Ballard, has just hit grand slam after grand slam. Trades back in the draft, gets 3 extra second-round picks, including one that's still yet to come, and gets the guy the Colts would have taken #1 overall, potentially, Quentin Nelson. Hits a home run with that pick. Hits a home run with Darius Leonard. They will be able to sign Le'Veon Bell if they want him this offseason. Luck looks as good as ever. The only caution I would put on it is this. I think the Texans, with Deshaun Watson, are very tough in that division.
Yeah.
If the Titans ever get a quarterback, they could be tough. And you did something very tricky earlier, a few minutes ago, when you were talking about the best young quarterbacks in football, and you mentioned a 23-year-old, a 24-year-old, and then you included Luck, who when next season starts is going to be 30. I know you keep convincing yourself you're still a very young man, but Luck is not a young quarterback anymore.
Okay.
Luck is about to be 30. So he should be in his prime, which he is. He's been awesome. And the Colts should beat the Texans this weekend.
Okay, and finally, my New Year's resolution, be nicer. I come off as a little hard on Patrick Mahomes. Even his dad has told people Colin doesn't like him. He's a marvelous talent. And with Andy Reid, it's going to be 12 years of W's. And by the way, I have him in the AFC Championship, so I think they'll end up there. Whether they win or not, I'm not sure. But you think he's MVP. I have said Luck. The table is yours for a couple minutes on him. Yeah.
You said Luck? I assumed you were going Breeze.
No.
Go ahead. Name what?
I can name 8 Chiefs. Name 3 Colts. I think Luck is taking less. And I think your guy Mahomes, I got pass rushers. I got Chris Jones. I got Justin Houston. I got the fastest receiver. I got the best tight end. I've got a great left tackle. I've got Andy Reid. Your guy gets more help than my guy.
Okay, all right. So I'm glad you mentioned all these great Chiefs defenders, which have led them to the 32nd ranked defense in football. You're right. This Chiefs defense has carried them again. In their 4 losses this year, they've averaged 39 points per game. Colin, sometimes things aren't complicated. 50 touchdowns, 5,000 yards. Luck's had a great year. He's got 39 touchdowns. He has been sacked 8 times in the last 10 weeks of football. What Mahomes did this year is one of the 3 greatest quarterbacking seasons ever. 2007 Brady, 2013 Manning, 2018 Mahomes. And people are like, oh, well, it's the weapons. It's Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce. Okay, take those touchdowns out. The Hill and Kelce touchdowns out. He'd have 28 touchdown passes on the year. Your long-lost brother, Tom Brady, has 29 total. Let's not overthink this. It's the #1 seed, the 3rd highest scoring team in the history of football, 50 touchdowns, 5,000 yards. If anyone else wins the MVP, they should stop giving the award out. It should be unanimous. Breeze had a nice season. Breeze has 32 touchdowns on the year. Mahomes has 31 on the road. This is silliness. And you're right, the amazing weapons like Demarcus Robinson, who caught the 50th touchdown. Sammy Watkins been a no-show. Kareem Hunt got cut. The defense is terrible. They're 12-4 in the 1 seed. We all know who the MVP is. You just want him to cut his hair.
Yeah, I'm not a big headband guy. I just thought about that. Baker wears a headband. Patrick, I'm not a big headband guy. I didn't even like Wilt Chamberlain.
LeBron wore a headband for a long time.
Yeah,
Who did?
Not a big headband guy. Joy, wear sweatbands tomorrow to work, please.
Yes. LeBron wore a headband for a long time.
I didn't like it at all. I bailed on him when he did that. Nick Wright, great. Happy New Year, buddy.
You too. Miss you guys. Talk to you soon.
All right, Nick Wright, first things first, co-host. Okay, coming up next, Russell Wilson, Dak, Seattle, Dallas. It is going to be a great game that will prove a point this weekend. And I want you to know something going into it about the Cowboys, Seahawks, about Russell Wilson and Dak. It